Mama, na digital blessing. High tech, they rise, no stressing. Money boy on the beat. I see numbers on my screen. Green candles make me lean. My people, them, they win. High tech, they flow like stream. Enough we go down. Now only young we know. All my people gather round. Make we show them how we grow. High tech, na juju money. Juju money. Price, they rise infinitely. My God, dash us this blessing. This blessing. Digital money, no go rest, oh. No rest. Sharp pattern, they confirm. Every trader, they affirm. All time high, no be ceiling. Market makers, them, they feeling. My brother, check his stats. Numbers climbing like that. New record every day. High tech, show them the way.
Okay. All right. I think we should be ready. Just allow me to quickly confirm that we have sound in order. The music was playing. There's a little bit of a delay. Give me just a second to confirm that everything is working fine. I don't wanna be talking to myself for like 1 hour straight. Just a second. All right. We have sound, so we can start. My name is Hightech, of course. I'm the creator of Hightech Meme Coin. This is the mint address. This is not an address, the address, or an address for tips. No, it's not. It's the mint. So don't send, even if you like my content, one hell, never send anything here. This is a Solana meme coin, of course, so that will be on Solana network. This is the mint address of this coin. So that's why I put it here, just so you guys can know. And on these live streams I talk about what just happened today in the cryptocurrency market, what I think about it. I use 11 years of my experience. Of course, I've been 11 years in this whole sphere. And I talk, of course, about high tech meme coin, how revolutionary approach it is to meme coin scene generally, and why it will be a blueprint for many other meme coins, and it will completely revamp whole meme coin scene. So yeah, I think we can start. We can start. So let's switch the screens. Miko says, "What is WTF?" Well, these are my live streams. Welcome, Miko. Stay with me. I hope you will like what you hear here, and yeah, hopefully you will become a subscriber, right? So, guys, if you have any questions about high tech or about the current market situation, don't hesitate to ask me. As you see, I will see it in the live chat, of course, and as soon as I notice, I will try to refer to that. So yeah, let's discuss. Let's first discuss what has been going on in the market. So this is Bitcoin dominance chart. As you see, at the beginning we pumped a little bit. Here, meaning that, of course, altcoins had to dump because this one is inversely correlated to the altcoin market. But as you see, including today, for the last 3 days, we are giving back. The Bitcoin dominance is giving back. This is what we want, of course. We don't want this thing to be doing well, and this is literally what I was preaching, right? If you don't believe me, go to my previous live streams and see for yourself, right? I said more or less from here we are going probably to get rejected, 60 to 20, more or less. Allow me to adjust it just like that. Yes, and yeah, this is literally what we are getting. Another magic line I see has been removed by TradingView. I love when TradingView does that. It employs me to put my lines on the chart, the lines on the chart. This one This is correct. 60-20. That's another level. Yeah, it's correct. Okay. So we actually, as you see, we are somewhat we are moving in between somewhat technical levels right now. So the Bitcoin dominance is behaving very technically correct, I would say. And that's why, because of it, I said I'm expecting this rejection that just happened, right? And that we are in the midst of it. At least in my eyes, I don't really think Bitcoin dominance has great chance right now to keep rising from here. It is possible though, but it's highly likely improbable that we are going to have something like this. This is very improbable. Everything is possible in the crypto market, generally in this world, but one thing that is very improbable, that we just get back up to where we were. That's given how high we are on this chart, and let me remind you that the maximum level here is 100. There is nothing above 100. So that means the higher we are, the harder it is to maintain it, right? It's a high maintenance level. So that is why we've been rising here for over 2 years, like two and a half years so far. So that is why it's definitely to be expected for this thing to start to give back, right? To repay what it has taken, because it has taken a lot from the altcoin market. And let me tell you, if you think that the altcoin market has nothing to offer, you're hugely mistaken. It definitely has a lot to offer, at least same as much as Bitcoin, if not more. And I've discussed it many times on these live streams. What it is, like for example, Solana, it offers throughput that can serve to the global economy, like literally. You can throw literally everything at Solana. It's fast enough to give service to all of those transactions, all of those services at very cheap prices, at very good speeds. So this is generally something that blockchain has been aiming for a very long time, and so far practically only Solana is delivering on that. Not in a perfect way though, but closest to perfection that it can be. Does that mean you should invest in Solana? No, I don't really think so. I don't really know what's the economic model of Solana exactly, like how much. I have not checked it. How much supply is still locked? What inflation it has quite low. I think like 1%, 1.5%. It has some burning mechanisms, but that alone does not guarantee high prices. Because this Solana and smart contract networks, you must understand them as infrastructures that rival, let's say, Amazon, rival Microsoft, and cloud computing services, cloud storage services. So they must be cheap in order to be performing well, be attractive. They must be cheap. Otherwise, builders, developers will stop interested in them, and that means they will not have anything to offer anymore. So that this is a thing to consider if you're thinking about investing in Solana, and that is why Ethereum is definitely on the trajectory to zero. I've been saying about it for a very long time, that of course it will have its speculative bubbles like it's having now. I'm even in a trade on Ethereum, even though I know exactly how it's going to end. It's going to end bad. For people that believe that Ethereum is going to dominate the world, there is a super high chance it's going to end up really bad for those investors, right? It is possible it won't happen. Why? Because all of them are live protocols, so it can adjust. It can, I mean that the ETH developers can come up with something that it will put it on par with Solana, at some point. But given how big Ethereum is, that it complicates things. It literally puts a lot of barriers, different circles of interest for things to stay as they are right now, and that's a huge obstacle for a protocol such as a blockchain such as Ethereum, because blockchains are actually protocols, among other things, databases and protocols. So that is why, yeah, I would definitely not bet on Ethereum long term. I think this is the last cycle in which Ethereum performs. I think later it will start to fade fairly fast, and it will give room to better technologies, to technologies that literally just do better what Ethereum does, which is smart contracts and cloud, storage on blockchain, and computing power on blockchain. Solana is to name the first, and behind Solana, on the podium there is other places too. So Ethereum really falls behind, like far behind. But having said so, I still think Ethereum has a room to go. With the power of its big name, because it's second biggest name in the crypto space right now. Of course, Wall Street bets big on Ethereum, given that it's probably just about to have an introduction of staking on spot ETFs. So I think that alone will allow Ethereum to reach much greater evaluation for the time being. While we are still in a bull market, and trust me, we are still in a bull market, even though on altcoin side it does not look like it yet. I mean, many altcoins actually have not started their bull markets. They are still in their bear markets, but that's about to change. I think from now on, the whole next 365 days are going to be very good for the crypto space. I mean, of course, it's going to be volatile, because every single bull market is volatile. Bear markets are also volatile, and that is why they are very interesting, and definitely not worth of turning your eyes away, especially if you know trading as I do. Bear markets can be very, very juicy. They can deliver very juicy opportunities. If you're an investor, then of course it's a very bad time for you. If you're a trader, bear markets are absolutely, at times even amazing. I can tell, from my own experience. But of course, the easiest times are when there is bull market, roaring bull market, and like I said, I'm 99.999% sure that we are at the doorstep of it, at the doorstep of bull market on altcoins. People call it altcoin season, and it's close. We are getting closer and closer to it. So let me refer to today's title: Bitcoin tanked, secret exposed. Because I always search for something that will attract at least a little bit of attention, since I'm a small influencer. Yet I believe in myself greatly, and in my ethic of work. I'm very stubborn. I'm a very stubborn individual, so I will definitely grind it until all of my channels, live streaming channels, like on YouTube, on Rumble, on Kick, and what have you, until they become very big, right? So that is why, but in the meantime, I'm searching for some ways of speeding the process up. But it is not a pure clickbait, because I had something on my mind when I was choosing this title. So of course we had a little bit of a correction on Bitcoin. Yesterday I said, even though my own algorithm actually closed the position it had open, Here it open, here it closed. It was at 0.9% in a loss, very tiny loss. When you're trading, brings you losses. Generally speaking, you want to maintain those losses as small as possible, and 0.9% is a very very tiny loss. This is of course spot trading. I highly discourage you from using leverage. If you trade on leverage, then sooner or later you are going to get completely wiped out. Just a matter of time. That's literally the math of it. If you know the math of leverage trading, upfront from the very beginning, you will have to lose that game. So that's why this is whatever I show always is nothing else but spot trading, right? So have it in mind. So yeah, even though on the 15-minute time frame, which is my main time frame, my system's trade, because to those that still do not know, I created my own system, a trading system that I've been even renting. A very successful system with using all of the tricks to my advantage. All of the tricks you could ever find in a book about trading that simply it trades for me. It's been very successful over the last 8 years, which is the period since it exists. Even on my own algorithm has closed the position on 15 minute. On 1 hour it actually stayed in a position. 15 minutes is like sometimes it's overreacting, a little bit overreactive, but that's perfectly fine because this is literally the way it has been calculated. It's supposed to give me very early entries, very early exits for the cost of more fake outs. That's the trade-off. When it comes to trading, there is no let's say strategies that give you a high win-lose ratio and high hit rate. You always must trade one for another. If you want to have a high win-lose ratio, you must sacrifice the hit rate. If you want high hit rate, you must sacrifice high win-lose ratio. So me, I believe I use a perfectly balanced system in that regard. But yeah, here as you see, nothing has happened this deep, which was, by the way, a very small move downwards, very very small, because here from the local top before we went diving, it was less than 4%. So in crypto terms, that's literally nothing. Almost forex like move. Forex, of course, has that quality of very low volatility. So nothing really to talk about, and I was pointing it out from the very beginning that you should not be panicking about it. Some OGs, like for example Da Vinci Jeremy, said that we could go down to 112, 110. Yeah, that could have happened, but it did not happen. Because I mean, here there is no certainties. Well, one thing you must put into your head, like very very deep in your mind, is that there is no certainties here. There are only probabilities. It was definitely possible, but from the beginning I said that's a little bit unlikely. Why? Because the summer season, the setup of liquidity that we are having favorites bulls, because first quarter was absolutely terrible, so that automatically meant second quarter and highly likely third quarter are going to be good, and that has been the case so far. If we measure things from end of first quarter, and that means the payout time for the big players will be fourth quarter, right? So they will be, because liquidity right now is low, they are probably fully loaded, left and right, so they don't want really to dump on low liquidity, because it's just they're overpaying spreads. So they will be printing, they will literally be buying and selling from themselves. They will be printing higher and higher numbers, and then when retail comes in, retail, is when retail gets brought by how nicely it has been performing for so long, and then they will dump on the retail, right? So this is literally modus operandi of what they do, like for decades on different markets. Now of course on our market too. So that is why given that quarter four is coming at us fast. Time flies. So that's why it was very unlikely in my eyes that we are going to see any sort of neck-breaking corrections here. Why? Because at the end of the day, they want that retail to come in, right? Slowly, they want to tease them more and more. So in the quarter four, they get that liquidity. So they cannot be overly brutal now. That's how I understand it. And as you see, apparently I'm somewhat right, because like I said, the volatility we are currently observing is definitely way below average if we consider last 4 years, for example, right, on Bitcoin. And when it comes to altcoins, more or less the same. I mean, they're of course, given how they've been performing for last almost 2 years, there is much more crowd willing to short it. When they go a little bit up, then the vast majority switches to long. So there is a lot of liquidity there on the derivatives markets to grab it. Because crowd, there are folks that are very inexperienced. They think leverage is the way to go. This market has its very faithful circle of gamblers, 24/7, 365 days a week. So that, like I said, that's and I've been talking about it yesterday. That's a liquidity ready to grab at times, and from time to time it will be very attractive for market makers. So they will not be leaving the food on the table, right? So I believe this a little bit of volatility here on the Bitcoin chart was literally that they didn't want to leave the food on the table. They have noticed that there is a build up of longs here, so they went for it, right? And I've couple of times I've explained how it is looped, how derivatives market is interconnected with the spot market. So generally when they want to dump the price, they open shorts, right? They open short here. I was talking about it yesterday. Then they dump the price. Longs get liquidated, of course, on the way down. So they absorb with this short. They absorb all of that liquidity, and and later, when people switch. Flip to shorting, they do the opposite. They open longs. They pump the price on low liquidity, and they liquidate the shorts, right? So it's very easy for them to do that when they have the advantage, the capital mass advantage, right? They have a lot of capital. They have a lot of let's say USD. They have a lot of BTC. The altcoin market is closely observing what Bitcoin does, so it reacts to it, and then they can use it, of course, as well for grabbing liquidity on the altcoin market, which is much less liquid than Bitcoin. So it's just a perfect storm for them, right? But only low liquidity allows them to, let's say, fully squeeze this juice out. If we have high liquidity conditions, there is it is much difficult to execute, because a lot of retail is also a force, right? A lot of retail is also a force, and sometimes they get squeezed, right? They get squeezed out. Their shorts get squeezed out. Their longs get squeezed out. So El Dorado is only when liquidity is low, and that is now. That is literally now. Let's take a look at liquidation levels, how they've been proceeding since yesterday. So yeah, as you see, the liquidation levels are much lower than only yesterday and the day before yesterday. So probably the meat and potato was in liquidating shorts, long, sorry, because now we came back up and we don't really see much short liquidations. So that somewhat confirms what I've been preaching, that they are not really interested in dumping this market, because if they allowed it to come back up, they want to print higher prices and keep teasing gamblers in derivative markets to keep longing it, and periodically, of course, they will be liquidating those longs, just like they just have done, right? So pretty simple strategy for them, and it will be like that. That's why do not bet on this market going down. Stay in spot. Don't overreact. Zoom out if you think something serious is going on. And I think if you switch from let's say whatever interval you are looking at to daily or weekly, I think you are going to be doing much better, because the common mistake that people do here is when price goes sideways, they tend to switch to lower time frames, and then they forget about it. They forget that they're actually looking at paint getting dry, right? They're just looking at it under microscope, and they think there is a lot of going on there, but in reality they are looking at the wall, freshly painted wall, where the paint just gets dry, right? So it's boring. It's literally nothing's going on there. And when we've switched to greater time frames, one thing that I really do not like about the daily, because it's not like, I mean, there is some merit, a little bit of merit, and not considering the liquidity setup. That is, like I said, definitely not something that favorites pairs, that says that it is profitable to dump this market. It's definitely the profitability is definitely on the upside side of the market. But technically speaking, if you want to talk about technicalities, then here we made a new lower low, and that is a little bit disturbing for the trend. If we want to get like really technical, but only in terms of daily candles, only in terms of in terms of weekly candles too. Actually, I'm supposed to talk about it on weekly candles, not on the daily candles. Sorry for that. So yeah, when we look at this uptrend from here, every single weekly we had higher lows, and this week for the first time we had lower low. So that is technically speaking is disturbing the trend, right? It does not have to end it yet, but it's like a little bit of a warning sign. It's supposed to work as a little bit of a warning sign that we just made a new lower low on the weekly. On the daily, forget about the daily. Forget about what I was trying to tell here, because here it's there is too much noise. On the daily, there's definitely too much noise. But when we switch over to Heikin Ashi, which is definitely the default candle for all of the TradFi, all of the corporations, all of the institutions that just joined our sector, our part of global finance, they by default look at Heikin Ashi, and Heikin Ashi is because why? Because they trade in a market, in the market which is stock market, where there is only 8 hours of trading a day, five times a week. So their charts are super choppy, and only Heikin Ashi can smooth it out enough so it's much easier to read. So that's why their default mode is Heiken Ashi candles, and here, as you see, Heiken Ashi is looking really solid. It's looking really good. So that's why I would not, worry too much about that lower low, first lower low in a while on normal candles. I think it's going to be disregarded. It's going to be neglected, but by big players systems. By the way, allow me to check the chat. If you guys have any questions, of course, write me. Don't hesitate to write me, and I will try to answer to the best of my abilities. You know what? Allow me to turn on Kik, because Kik, I think, is the only one that is not served here in this chat. I also live stream to Kik here. For the last few days, I started to live stream on Kik, and I already gained 8 followers, which is super cool. Kik is very generous with me. Unlike YouTube, YouTube is treating me very bad. To be honest, I will still, live stream on YouTube, because when I do these live streams, it goes to 5 platforms at once anyway. So I have literally nothing to lose. But I must say, if YouTube continues what they do, they will slowly start to lose relevance in my eyes. So here is the altcoin market for today. As you see, couple of nice bubbles like IDEX, True, Ray, CKB. Ray I do not trade. I used to trade this coin, but I do not trade it anymore. IDEX I do trade, and True I do trade. Kernel I also do trade, and I have all of these. I have in a position right now. I don't think it's anything super great. I don't think those trades are like really big, but they're not bad. Again, IDEX is plus 30% in profit right now, so yeah, it could be better. It could enter a little bit earlier, but plus 30%, I take it anyway. I take it. I will not be complaining about it. True. This one is plus 10%, so definitely could be bigger, but again, it's in profit nevertheless, so I'm not going to complain about it. And kernel, it gave me a double. Yeah, it gave me a double, and later it came down quite a lot. I still stayed with half of initial position size in this trade. So here it was 50% was taken off the table. Initial investment got withdrawn, and yeah, just game has gone back up, and apparently the ball is still in the game. And honestly, I think I'm going to get a second double on it. I think I'm going to get a first double on all of those positions, because those that have not reached first double, and probably second double too. I think we are about to see a really good time on altcoins until quarter fourth. So maybe even it will last into deep fourth quarter. I say, well, once I say for quarter fourth or fourth quarter, it's fourth quarter, right? I'm not native English, so forgive me from time to time if I say something a little bit weird. I just have that lenses on me, and yeah, I think there is a great chance it's going to last into deep fourth quarter, right? But don't be surprised if we get a very thick correction at the very beginning of it. That's all. That could be also, that should be on your bingo card. That definitely should be on your bingo card. So yeah, me, I don't have to worry about it, because my systems will handle it for me. Indirect exposure, to my systems is, of course, my meme coin Hitech, the one I advertise here. It's also a gateway to invest in all of my live streams here on all of the platforms, because this is the only project I promote, and it's going to stay that way. Why? Because it has my face on it. So unlike, let's say, Trump coin, Donald Trump, the president of the United States, does not really mention anything about his coin. Me, I talk about MyCoin every single day. I'm a programmer too, for those that do not know, so I will be making the apps for this coin in the future. I'll be making smart contracts, protocols and such. But for now, primarily, I just promote it on my live streams. So yeah, if you sympathize with me, if you like my content, if you like my personality, you like what I'm about here, then you can invest in it, and you can invest in it through this, right, indirectly. So yeah, that's why this is a completely new approach to the altcoin scene. It allows a very early monetization of influencing activity way before any live streaming platform allows it. So that's why I believe this will become a blueprint for small influencers for micro influencers. They will be using literally this scheme. uh, they will try to re-implement it into their own personal meme coins. And yeah, I have zero doubt in my mind that this thing is going to turn very big, very big. So this is your opportunity to be here very early and post about it later on, that I invested in Hightech when it was just slightly above $100. Just like now, people boast about how early they invested in Bitcoin, right? Like for example, me, I was first Bitcoin I bought them for $400, and it was actually late. I mean, now it sounds very impressive, but it was actually already late. So yeah, so here I give you this opportunity to be able to do literally the same, but with Hightech, right? A link to its trading pool you will find, or liquidity pool. Me, I call it trading pool. You will find it in the description section of this live stream if you watch it on YouTube or Rumble. Other than that, if you watch it on X, for example, just copy paste the mint address of this coin, which you will find in my bio, of course, and go to whatever DEX, Solana DEX like Raydium. Yeah, I recommend Raydium because Raydium, I think, has the best, let's say, fees, the lowest fees for my meme coin. If you go to Jupiter, you are going to pay hefty fees. And don't go too big. Don't go too big. Let's say invest amounts that you will definitely not sweat. I highly discourage you from putting large amounts of money into it. Why? Because it's still volatile. These are just the beginnings. So consider that, we started from $1 and it went up to $307, and later, as you see, the correction was somewhat easy to notice, right? So now we are recovering. So probably, first wave we have behind, and now we are on to get the second wave. Second wave probably is going to be same as impressive as the first wave. So yeah, now is the time to get yourself a little bit, but don't go too crazy. Don't go too crazy. Get yourself like $1, $2, $3. It's still going to turn into countable money. You don't have to invest thousands of dollars here, as some of people have done at the beginning, literally. So and later, that is why we had this correction, because they overinvested. They were sweating it. They were nervous about it, and that's why they started to sell off. None of this was my sell-offs. You will never see me selling on exchange. If I want to sell something, I will sell OTC, right? That's the correct way of doing it. And I will not sell OTC to anyone if I do it manually. Later, I will create a smart contract that will allow to buy OTC in automated manner, but I will be selling OTC only at all-time highs, only at all-time high prices. This is how I have been doing so far, and it will stay that way. If somebody wants to buy from me OTC, they will have to pay all-time high price. So in the meantime, if anybody wants to buy it cheaper, then they have to go to Raydium and buy it from there. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, don't forget about writing them in live chat. Allow me, hold a second, is the live stream working well? Yeah, it's working well. Allow me to go to live stream on X, because maybe I'm not sure. I have not received confirmation if live stream, live chat on X does work, because so far not many people have watched my content on X. So apparently I'll have to wait a little bit for more growth in order to try that one out. But yeah, later I will be. I mean, every single day after I finish my live streams, and expect it. I mean, this is something that you should expect. I will be re-live streaming this content, right? Now I'm recording it, and I'll be re-live streaming for long hours, right? Why? Because that gives me visibility. That gives me reach, and normally if I just finish when I'm done here. The exposure I get is very limited, so in order to amplify that exposure, I must keep doing it that way until I grow. Until I grow big, then I can forget about it. I can just do one live stream, this one, the real one, and it will leave me with satisfying exposure. But while I'm still this small, I have to search for different tricks to speed up the process and grow faster, right? Yeah. So yeah, let's take a look how search terms on Google Trends are doing. Bitcoin search term, for example. This one is for United States and YouTube search only. I believe YouTube search gives us the most accurate data. I don't think Google Trends, Google search is reliable in that regard. So yeah, so for now we started collecting this data 20th of July. So we are just about to close this interval. So yeah, the popularity of Bitcoin is declining. What about altcoins? And altcoins is on the rise. You see, we had this peak in between 29th of June and the 5th of July. Later, there was a very sharp decline, but we maintain. So it was like a little bit of a deviation from this uptrend, like extreme deviation. Nonetheless, as you see, we are maintaining the uptrend, right? So we are higher than the last read. So that to some extent confirms what I'm saying, that we are about to see much greater rallies, much greater upward moves across the whole altcoin scene. So be ready for that. On Bitcoin, we may not see that much growth anymore, to be honest. I speculate that we should still see 150k this year before we see any big corrections. But maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe it's going to be earlier. Maybe we will not reach 150k. Maybe it will occur prematurely to 150k target. But definitely we will go higher than where we at. I'm 100% sure that we will go higher. So yeah. All right. What else can I discuss here? Let's take a look how S&P closed yesterday, because at the time when I was live streaming here, S&P was still trading. So yesterday we got all-time high again. The daily was green, as you see, because am I right? It's Saturday today. Yes, it is Saturday. So yeah, I mean, TradFi is bullish. Here we have a little bit of I was talking about it yesterday, divergence in between S&P and Bitcoin. S&P went up, Bitcoin went down, but I think it it will come back to a correlation. Bitcoin will come back to a correlation with S&P in this conditions. Of course, we want it to get correlated because S&P is railing, S&P is doing well, and Bitcoin had a little bit of a pullback, very tiny pullback, but a little bit of a pullback. This one, let's say these conditions will work for us very well, right? So that's why since TradFi stormed our space, we have much greater level, much greater grade of correlation with S&P. So now this one will work for us. Let's take a look how total E50 is doing. That's the chart that in my eyes is the most representative right now for altcoins. But I don't know why since yesterday it displays like this, so it does not show me the whole history, which is very, very, very weird. It was not doing like this, so that forces me to actually go back to Onders chart, which is the one that is also aggregated form of chart, but this one, as you see, it shows me the whole picture. So yeah, here, as you see, the weekly does not suffer the same lack of quality that we could see on the Bitcoin chart, because here we maintain high lows at all times. This week we did not mark a lower low, so we are much more bullish here than on the Bitcoin chart. And yeah, another confirmation of what I'm expecting, right? So that's absolutely wonderful. Yeah. Again, guys, if you have any questions, ask them. As soon as I notice, I will guys try to respond to it. And in the meantime, let's go over to my X timeline. Let's see what the space has been talking about today. Take profits or go to war. Crypto guys, they go to war, right? Yeah, it's very important to remember about taking profits, because we are going to get a larger correction sooner or later, highly likely fourth quarter. And let me tell you, because there is a lot of talks around the end of the cycle in fourth quarter, and that becomes mainstream. That opinion becomes very mainstream, which makes it very highly unlikely that it is going to be the case. That it will be the case. Probably it won't. Probably it won't. My guess is that we are going to we will have very nice growth. We will have that correction in fourth quarter, but we will continue growth into the deep 2026, and sometime probably, I don't know, at the end of first half of next year, the cycle will be over. But am I right? We will see. I think there is a lot of merit behind it, which I'm discussing here every single day. I explain it every single day. But sometimes, even if things add up from logical standpoint, market will still do something totally opposite. So that is why I do not invest in this market. I do not invest in any market. I trade these markets. I think that's the right thing to do. And I mean, let's say my life experience is, especially during last 8 years, confirms that above all. This guy thinks Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin. Luna. Okay, he has a tattoo of Terra Luna on his arm. That's funny. But yeah, probably it will. To be Mike Novogratz. Probably it will outperform Bitcoin. Even though tattooing Terra Luna on your arm was a very bad move. Apparently, I mean, as we know it, Terra Luna absolutely collapsed. And I was telling you guys, it's going to collapse. I was, everyone that knew me at that time, they also knew I was telling them it will have to collapse. Why? Because the yields it was giving were 100% unsustainable. It was visible from a mile away that it will have to collapse in one form or another. Back then, can't be wrong. Whales are loading up on ETH. Yeah, they do. Ethereum open interest on CME futures just hit an all-time high of $7.85 billion, the highest ever recorded. I keep telling you guys, Ethereum is going to make a new all-time high, and after this cycle, it will start to slowly fade away. Crypto saving expert bullish. This whale just bought 60,646 ETH for $226 million today. That was 3 minutes ago. So a fresh post. Taiwan's arrow signs, real life GPS you didn't know you needed. All right, but that's not a crypto topic. But crypto in Taiwan, I think, is quite popular because I get quite a lot of traffic from Taiwan at times on my X profile. What else? This is very bearish for cryptocurrency. Japanese scientists claim to have deleted the chromosome causing Down syndrome. Nice. That's very nice. I don't think that's very bearish for cryptocurrency, to be honest. I think it's the opposite. It's actually bullish. Cabbage produce no seeds. So where the farmers get cabbage seeds from? Okay, that's another topic. There is a Bitcoin cycle, it's just not what many think. It mirrors the business cycle. Bitcoin tops when it tops. Bitcoin goes parabolic when it inflects. Bitcoin's ramp length equals time until inflection. Bitcoin has always stopped 14 months after inflection. So now we have inflection. So that will mean that we have 14 months from now on. I don't think it's going to last that long. It will be very nice. My guess is deep 2026, like end of first half. 14 months, that'll mean it will be the end, almost the end of 2026. If this guy is right, I will be in that pump until then, right? Until the end of 2026. Because me, I don't trade manually. My systems handle it all for me. That's the greatest advantage of algorithmic trading. All of the rest probably they'll buy in at the very top. Unfortunately, retailers, but that's the way this game is crafted. This is a zero-sum game. That is why you can win so much money here, because there is so many people willing to give it to you. Just give it to you, hand it over to you, because they have no idea what they are doing. If you know what you are doing, they don't know what they are doing. The outcome is obvious. Okay, how long have I been live streaming here, guys? 53 minutes, all right. I don't want it to make it too lengthy, but I don't want it to make it too short neither. So let's see if this one gives me a little bit of more inspiration to look at charts, to discuss a little bit more charts. Because Ethereum is an easy one, as I keep repeating on the weekly. It's like a rocket at the end of your back, in the lower part of your back. I don't want to use that word. And it can easily go another that easily. And if you don't believe me, I've been right on Ethereum. Just go back on my go to my YouTube channel, because there everything is recorded, and check out what I was saying when we were back here or here. I mean, because, or here, even here, right? Just look it up, and you will know I really know what I'm talking about, right? I've been right here. I've been right here, and in current liquidity conditions, it's like almost like even I'm going to be right here again. And you know what your boys were telling you? They're probably complaining a lot at Ethereum that is underperforming and so on. And let me tell you, me, I'm not a perma bull. I'm far from a perma bull. I mean, because you can get those influencers that are a big one that are belong to that mainstream circle, but their problem is they keep repeating the same time and time again. They're like a broken clock. Twice every 24 hours they're right, and they rely on that let's say quality of their activity. In my case, when you will see me flipping bearish. You will definitely, there will be a time when I will flip bearish, but I will also keep reminding you that bear market is the time that delivers you the biggest opportunities. They're greatly delayed in time, of course, but bear market is when the money is born. Later is made, but is born in the midst of bear market. Breaking President Trump's admin just shut down the top 4 dark sites on the dark web and arrested 19 people. God bless President Trump for saving the children. Yeah, that's I mean, things like that should be erased from the face of the earth. I mean, there should be the greatest possible punishment for people like that. The death penalty, just straight up. If anybody gets involved into something like that, death penalty straight up. No question asked. Swarming. Gym time. Well, Swarming is in shape, eh? Quite in shape. A lot of tattoos, unnecessary. I think he would look much better without tattoos, but it's looking good. What about this one? Yeah, more tattoos. Me, I don't have any tattoos. I'm not a big fan of tattoos. Sometimes they look cool on someone, but in recent years they popularized so much. It's not cool anymore. Now you're exceptional when you don't have any tattoos, right? Because everybody have them. Who did this? Buy Bitcoin. I actually made a version of that meme, which you can see. By the way, how the live stream is doing. 33 impressions, not that many, 35, 2 clicks. Some people are watching, 5 views so far, not many. That is why I do rest streams of this live stream, just so I gain more impressions, more visibility, more engagement too, more followership. Where is it? Anyway, if you see this material, I mean, definitely give me a follow. If you watch my content, you don't give me a follow, you don't give me a subscribe, bro, what the hell are you doing with your life? You are mean. You're really mean if you act like that. This one here, you see? Yes, Mr. President. Right now, Mr. President, just let me pull out my mobile phone and buy some high tech, Mr. President. Yeah, that's the meme I crafted. I had a lot of laugh when I was making this one. So yeah, let me rephrase it. Once again, one more time. If you want to invest in my social media, if you want to invest in my live streams, in my social media activity, the gateway for that is high tech. because that's the only project I'm talking about here, and it will stay that way. You will not ever hear me talking about any other project. So whenever you purchase even the tiniest amount of high tech, you can sit down and relax because I'm shilling that coin for you every single day. And at some point, I will turn really, really big. Why? Because, the more you grind, the closer you are to that breakthrough moment in your whole social media career. And let me tell you, I'm a grinder. I'm a grinder. I never give up. When I decide to do something, I do it until I say succeed. Same was the case with my trading system. Same is going to be the case here. So you are literally, if you buy high tech, you invest in my stubbornness, in my grind, in my never quit mentality. Yeah. This was, by the way, this was uh, the uh, the post about yesterday's live stream from my YouTube channel. I did not live stream on X yesterday. Why? Because I renewed X Premium just yesterday after I live streamed on other platforms. But yeah, I decided. I mean, mainly because how YouTube is treating me. YouTube is treating me very bad, really, really bad. So because of that, I felt like to myself like, you know what? F you YouTube. I'm going to renew X Premium, even though aside from live streams, I have zero use for it because it does not give you much advantage over a regular account, free account. The only advantage it gives you is that it allows you to live stream on X, in my opinion. If you don't need to live stream on X, I don't really think you need X Premium, because from my experience, it gives you zero edge over the basic you know the basic account. But yeah, let's go back to my timeline. Tom will just said on CNBC that Bitcoin is going to $250,000 this year. It's happening. I don't really think so. Is it possible? Yeah, it is possible, definitely. And I will be in Bitcoin, in a trade on Bitcoin if that happens. If that happens, I'm drinking that juice. I'm having that juice if that happens. But is it likely to happen? In my eyes, no. But sometimes that's the way it is. Things that are unlikely to happen. Like I remember in 2017, because this X profile, I created it in late 2017, I think, or mid 2017, something like that. But that does not mean I started crypto with registering on X. In that moment. No, absolutely not. I didn't see any sense behind even owning a tweet back then in Twitter profile, right? Twitter profile. There was more and more people, in my circle, getting Twitter accounts. I did not really see much sense for it. I was mainly on Facebook because in my country Facebook is very popular. Up until today, it's very popular, and all of the crypto scene was actually buzzing on Facebook. So I was like, why would I have another social media account? So I have to manage, another one instead of this one that just is doing the job, right? So that's why I waited a lot of time before I finally gave up to the idea and created it. Like I think it was like 2 years since I got into crypto. I waited like 2 years to create Twitter profile. But yeah, I remember that means I participated in the whole 2017, 2016, 2017 bull run, and let me tell you, I remember people were that I bought my first Bitcoin for like $400. I went all in on it, like literally, because I started programming and to learn programming in 2010, and at 2015 I already had enough of knowledge to actually I know what I'm looking at when I was reading about Bitcoin. And the moment I realized what that is, and I was like, yeah, I'm going all in. It was very responsible to do that, very responsible to do that. But went all in at $400. I didn't have much money back then, to be honest. So it wasn't very large amount. Uh, I mean, depending on where you're from. If you're from United States and you heard how much I bought back then, you will definitely it will definitely not sound impressive to you. But if you're from like I don't know second world, world countries, then it will be a lot of money to you. And I remember that people were talking about $3,000, $5,000, and the majority were poking their foreheads. They're poking their heads. Like, what the hell are you talking about, man? Like, they're like, something's wrong with you. I think you should go and see a doctor. And as you may know by now, we went to 20,000, right? So most of folks, and we also had, listen, I think the most outrageous prediction back then was $10,000. That when somebody said that in 2017 cycle we will reach $10,000, people were like, definitely not, absolutely not. Name whatever other price, but please do not talk about $10,000. And we went to $20,000, right? So that is why remembering that, I stay humble. I don't think it is highly likely we will go above 150. We may not even reach 150 this year. But I definitely do not completely neglect that possibility. It can happen. Someone just bought 1,600,000 worth of Tesla, 610 calls. We've never been more back. And let me enlighten you that now you can trade Tesla stock on Solana with X stock tokens. If you type in, you go to Radium or Jupiter, you type in Tesla and lowercase x, you will find a tokenized Tesla that you can trade with actually quite good liquidity. Those liquidity pools, they have quite a lot of capital put in it, like a few $1,000,000, I think, to my memory, to what I remember, or at least $500,000. That's like a minimum. So yeah, you can trade there on Solana, no questions asked, no KYC, no nothing. That's beautiful. And I will definitely adjust my system to trade on Solana DEXs, and I will be trading that, because right now my system is written solely for Binance. That is why here, whenever I show crypto bubbles, this is also set for Binance. But sometime this year, probably next month, I'm going to add Bybit, and once I add Bybit, it will be much easier for me to add also Solana DEXs. What's this one about? Is a professor of Boeing. Okay, let's skip it. That has nothing to do with crypto for now, of course. I believe crypto and AI will emerge in the future, but we will still have to wait for it, like, I don't know, maybe 2 years. Not that long though. CMC app all in one. Okay. New author Nick Bhatia says live on CNBC India that Bitcoin is heading to $1 million easily. BTC will see 30% compound growth annually. It's true. Yeah, 1 million. I don't believe that. It is possible, but I don't think that is going to happen. 150 this year. before correction, I take it. I take it hands down. No questions asked. I will be very satisfied with it. Bitcoin Junkies. Vice President J.D. Vance says 100 million Americans will own Bitcoin. Yeah, but this one was at Bitcoin conference 2025 earlier this year, so a little bit outdated. Thank you for your attention to this matter. This one was very funny. It was literally like the skit from The Office, the series. 3 years ago, I was 28. After 3 years of holding Ethereum, I'm now 44. That's funny. Whales are loading up on ETH. Yeah, that one we already seen. Okay, guys, what the hell is this? Rolled out on web, coming out to your phone soon. How to choose best mode, fast, quick responses, expert, think hard. But this is for Grok 4. Yeah, and this is Super Grok. Okay. On Premium, we have access only to Grok 3. I think it's unlimited. But the limits on free plan, I think for most of people are good enough. Okay, now they got my attention. Yeah, I don't see this here. All right, guys, because I see my timeline repeats posts. So allow me to wrap it up right here. Share, like, and subscribe. Definitely consider getting yourself a little bit of high tech if you want to invest in my social media, in my live streams. This is the gateway for it. A very unique approach. Nobody has ever done it this way, so I'm first. This opens up literally a new doors for meme coins, for, let's say, some fundamental value for meme coins. So yeah, jump in. Don't overdo it. Get yourself a little bit of it, just so you don't become overly nervous. That's very important. Whenever you invest in something, you must stay calm, and to be able to stay calm, you cannot overinvest. That's my tip for you. And yeah, so thank you guys for your time. See you sometime soon. Cheers.